Back here with Jan Mattson here. I just want to go through the 4 L's with you on my program. The first one I want to talk to you about is your concept of love.
My concept of love is that other people are really important to you. And if you lose them, it leaves a real hole in your life. And you realize that even when you're alive and things are going well. So, with having 5 children, there's a lot of love there. We had our family was a loving family, in spite of problems that one or the other might have had. And of course, God's second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself, which I have to work on that, to be honest. But I do think that in a sense, what John Lennon said when he said, all we need is love, I think that's right. Because
Why do you think that's right?
I think that if people felt that towards their fellow man, there'd be a lot more harmony, a lot more even distribution of wealth and goods, and people wouldn't feel the need to have an excess at the expense of their neighbors. And there would be no more war. I mean, you don't kill somebody you love. So,
Has it always been a greed issue in your mind? I mean, or is it just is it as bad as it's ever been? The way you see it. I mean, you talked about having to work on loving thy neighbor, but it just seems like the excess and the hoarding and just the amount of money that people can make seemingly not doing anything really to give back to society is pretty alarming.
yeah, it's pretty easy not to love those people. It comes harder when you're just talking about mankind in general.
Sure.
People that you don't know, people that live down the street, and as Jehovah's Witness, we believe that our ministry is an act of love. It's motivated by love of neighbor. But it's still not always easy to have that feeling. It has to be cultivated, and it has to endure rejection, and failed attempts to be able to reach people. And
When you were going door to door, even when you first started going door to door, because you know how much being a witness has kept you on the right path, and has helped you through many different adverse hurdles in your life. And I don't want to say you have a lot of pride in it. You know it's the truth. You know it's real. So how did you learn to deal with people who, for lack of a better word, came across as ignorant or rejected you?
I didn't take it personally.
Even at the beginning, because even at the beginning,
It was unpleasant, but I didn't take it personally or feel any animosity to that person.
why not?
Maybe because it's not worth it. You just move on. That was kind of my feeling. And you never know where somebody's going to be tomorrow. You never know where they're coming from today. So you don't know those people. You don't know their circumstances. So we don't judge people on whether they reject us or not. Everybody changes. Everybody has their bad days and their good days, and there's a lot of variables that go into people rejecting us. They could have preconceived notions of us and so on. So
What's one stereotype or bias that you can just sort of alleviate from so much of our society is it's all about personal bias or what they believe, they understand, they think what a Jehovah's Witness is. What is like a common thing that you can?
Well, it depends on what's important to a person. If somebody is a patriot, they might resent the fact that we don't serve in the military. Although many Jehovah's Witnesses served in the military before they became Jehovah's Witnesses. So sometimes when we're rejected, the person won't know that the JW that's standing in front of them, was a Vietnam combat veteran, So we kind of show our patriotism by being honest citizens and paying our taxes and just not making any trouble for anybody, basically.
Just going back to the love for a minute, can you talk as a father about how the family came together when your daughter passed away?
Well, we all loved Sarah, and she meant different things, to different people. To my son Micah, she was like his best friend. To the twins, they were his older sister,
And never, you always look up to your older siblings,
Yeah. And to my oldest son, he basically never bullied Sarah. They were 2 years apart. He felt like responsible for her.
Mm-hmm.
He felt like her protector.
Sure.
So we all had kind of different ingredients in our, that were mixed in our love with her, which was...
You personally, was that the hardest thing adversity that you faced in your life, do you think?
Well, yeah, it was easily worse than cancer, so...
Right.
I don't think there's ever been a worse time in my life. When you lose your parents, I'm 78 years old, so they're long gone, but you kind of know that that's part of the deal, It's different. You grieve, but it's not something torn out of your soul.
Absolutely.
Kind of.
Well, they've lived a hardy existence,
yes.
hopefully,
Yeah.
And then somebody younger they're robbed of their entire existence or what they could have done.
Yeah.
Does she come to? Do you have dreams about her? Does she still communicate with her, or maybe already?
Well, our religious belief are that the dead are unconscious. Jesus likened it to sleep, so we don't believe she's suffering anywhere, or that she has that she's somewhere, conscious of her own existence. She's just like sleeping, gone.
No reincarnation or anything.
But we believe in the resurrection.
Okay, so what does that mean?
That means she can be brought back to life by God. And to me, just being alive in the first place seems like a miracle.
Yeah.
If you don't have if you're not in awe of your own existence, then, you need to think about it. So it sounds simplistic, but if God created us in the first place, then
God can bring
I think
back.
He can create us again with our own consciousness of being. We wouldn't just be clones of ourselves.
Absolutely.
That's why Jesus likened it to sleep, because when you come back to life, it's like waking up. So you know who you are when you wake up. So we will still have our own self-identity and our memories.
When you look at the lineage of your family, where are your ancestors from?
Well, My father is from Duluth, Minnesota, but
Nice. I think
his
Dylan grew up
his
around there.
hi- yeah, his heart and his soul is from Finland because that was his first language and that's what he was exposed to. It was kind of a Finnish neighborhood or ghetto, you know, and he was basically, when he was young, was brought up by just a couple of old Finns, unrelated.
Not familial.
And no, his father died when he was 2, and his mother didn't really feel like she could take care of him by herself, so he went to live in kind of like a foster home by arrangement, you know. And then when his mother remarried when he was 6, she took him back, and also when he was 6, he was forced to learn English in school. So in his adult life, he spoke English with no accent at all, but he still could speak Finnish. He still remembered the language. So